On today's episode of Watch Chair Go, look at this! How cool does that look? We are putting the shop in car dealership mode, and I love it. There's still a lot of cleaning to do, but whoo! What is going on, guys? I am Watch Chair Go, and today, like I said, we are here in the shop, and we spent all of yesterday cleaning, moving stuff, getting all the cars lined up, and here shortly we're gonna move the trailer. The Aztec's gonna move towards the back because it doesn't leave till the 21st, and my 67 Camaro and the 65, they're all gonna go in a row behind all of these cars. This will be the quick access over here. The S10's probably gonna go in front of the Corvettes too. After all that's done, I think we've got something that looks pretty cool going on here. But today, we have to fix the black Corvette again. So this thing is making another horrific belt noise. It's not really a belt, it's obviously a pulley of some sort. It's got a brand new alternator because that bearing was going bad before, but now we have a bearing going bad over here somewhere. So let's fire this thing up and you guys can hear what appears to have failed this time, the tensioner pulley on the Supercharger. I think both of these bearings failed at roughly the same time because it's got quite a few miles on it. There's a little bit of extra tension in the accessory belt serpentine system here with the Supercharger manually tensioning it. It still has like some give in it. There's a spring tensioner on there too, but you preset the belt tension with an adjustment and you can set it to be really tight so you don't have a belt slip on your Supercharger, obviously. With the hood open, you can see that tensioner. There's the spring tensioner there, and this is your adjustment for what's basically like the belt preload right there. And the pulley that's failed is that little tiny one down there on the bottom of that tensioner. Now that doesn't look easy to get to, but before we do that, let's start this thing up so you can hear it. One more cool thing that I'm kind of in love with, I now have this battery tender running down the middle of all the cars, and I can hook everything up because these have like 30-foot cables on them, so everything can be on chargers and just kind of nicely tucked in there. So it looks nice, everything will start every time I want it to run. Also, let's move the Atom because we're gonna have to pull the Corvette for it a little bit. The one car I don't need to start. This is a headphone warning for you guys. The car sounds amazing, but this squeak is horrible. You can see the bounce on the tensioner there exactly matches the squeak out of that pulley. So today we're gonna tear everything down in here basically, because that's really hard to get to. I think we're gonna have to pull the entire head unit off the Supercharger, so that means I need to pull the intake coupler here, probably the charge pipe off the bottom, all the bolts on the bracket, and then we can unbolt that pulley. And hopefully the bearings will just press out on it. Procharger doesn't really tell you what the bearings are. I've got a couple ideas, but we're gonna have to get it out of there and hopefully just run over to BRC Bearing, and if they have one in stock, my bearing nightmare will be over temporarily here in the shop. A whole lot of bearings recently, which isn't exactly fun, so let's get this knocked out. Here we go. So we gotta unlock our tensioner. Takes quite a few turns to do that. I think this is a first generation bracket from Procharger, obviously since it was the prototype, and I think they've made this a lot better now. And unfortunately, I don't have the better one. So now we're gonna back off the adjustment here, and once we get the belt off, I can spin that pulley, and hopefully that's our noise. I really think it is. I mean, obviously I've spun the Supercharger without the belt recently, and it sounded great, so we will find out together in just a moment. Well, it's gonna be a long moment for me, a short moment for you guys. I will say it almost seemed like I didn't have enough belt tension on here, so we're gonna find out in just a moment when we spin this by hand. But I've got the belt backed all the way off. We can pull it off the alternator now, so we'll just run over to the other side. The alternator is usually the easiest place to get a belt off a C5. All right, we got the belt off there. Let's run back over to the other side. Pull it off our Supercharger. 3 bolts later, we've got the Supercharger off. It's just kind of laying there. And now we can pull it out of the way a little bit and get down there to our idler pulley. It doesn't move a lot, obviously. If I pull the clamps off, we could probably pull it all the way out. I'd like to leave it on there, but we'll see if that works out for me. It only took 2 worm clamps to slide this thing out of the way. The intake tube's laying right over there. And now we can access our pulley. The idler pulley is out, and strangely, I can't find a problem with it. Now we're gonna go put bearings in it anyway, but I did talk to the previous owner, and he was like, that belt needs to be so tight that you think it's gonna break. And I was like, that can't be true. So that's why I was sure that it was this, but if you guys take a listen, I can feel a little bit of like, you know, early failure in my finger, but that's not squeak. There is zero noise coming from that bearing. I'm holding the center very tightly because my finger is jammed in there, obviously. And this is dual bearing too. They're Koyo, might get my finger stuck, 6003 RUs on both sides. So if you need to replace this on yours, now you know, just do an interchange on that bearing. I'm gonna run to the bearing store, we're gonna buy some new ones, and we're gonna swap these out. The bearings will only press out of the front as well, and there's a circlip holding that in. So once we go get some new ones, should just be a couple of minutes, and we'll put this thing back together.
Where are you going, BCA?
BRC.
BRC. That's
yes.
what I meant.
Yes, sir.
BCA is the powder coating.
Yeah, I knew you knew what I meant. Let's get these bearings out of this pulley here. So I've got my snap ring pliers. Just suck those together. And I think we're gonna have to actually press this out because it doesn't look like it's gonna come out easily. We'll try a socket and a hammer. A socket and a hammer might get this done. Here's our driver socket. It looks like a 13/16 is gonna be perfect for this job. Now we've got the bearing even with the face, so I can't push it out anymore on the floor. I'll try to tap it out in the air, but if that doesn't work, it looks like it's time to block this thing up. Now we ought to be able to just beat this out. Bearings are out. There's a spacer that sits in between the bearings because we definitely smoked that bearing. It is completely beat. This one looks great, still feels, oh! Listen to that. It's actually a pretty nasty bearing. That might have been our noise. And we're here at BRC Bearing to go replace these two bearings. I called and they said they have two different options in stock. How awesome is that? What you guys need in your lives. A bearing store like this that has everything. Interesting little fact for you guys, these bearings that I pulled out of it, these Koyos are an import bearing. They're Japanese. It's probably not the worst bearing, but these were $8 each, or you know, somewhere right in that range. That was for me buying two of them. I bought SKFs, which is the premium bearing according to BRC. These are $26 each. And I pretty much put this bearing in everything we've ever done. I mean, you saw me put it in the R8, stuff like that. I pretty much always use an SKF. It's just a nice bearing that should last much longer. But it's kind of upsetting that if you know what this Procharger setup costs, that the Koyo bearings were in there. I don't really think that should be happening. But what we're gonna do now is open these up, open their bags and press them into this pulley, and we're gonna have to use the press to put them back in there. I think it's gonna actually fit pretty tight. Luckily, it kind of has its own alignment dial to help me keep the bearings aligned as they go in. Let's press this thing in. Oops, she's drifting. Okay. We've got the second bearing started, our spacer's in there, and the little spacer the whole system runs on that mounts to the idler is backing it up so it stays centered. We're ready to do a final press, I think. Our idler package is all back together. We've got our insert in there, we've got our snap ring in there. Time to bolt this thing back together, take it for a drive, and hopefully it makes no noise. I will be so happy if this thing does what it's supposed to do. I've got everything bolted back together. There's really only 3 bolts on the bracket and a nice big like billet spacer that kind of holds it as is. And of course the belt tension is back kind of in the recommended area, which is between the 2 marks, so the tensioner can move both ways. You can see that's how much belt movement we have. It's not too much there, maybe a 1/4 inch. And now we can go ahead and tighten down the tensioner's main bolt here. Give it one more big hit. See the whole engine moves when I'm yanking on it for sure. All right, let's start this thing and see if we've got it fixed. Then I'll finish putting everything back together, which is really just the intake tube at this point. Fingers crossed, everybody. Quiet Corvette, that's what we're hoping for here. I mean, not too quiet, obviously. The exhaust is insane. That sounds better. Much better. I think she's fixed. Let's take this thing out for a drive and go rinse it off, obviously, because it's absolutely covered in dust. My plan was just to take the Corvette out, go wash it, take it home, and drive it around for a little bit. But instead, I think we're gonna grab the Draggy and go see what a 60 to 130 looks like in this. So obviously this is like 600 horsepower in a 3,000 and change pound car, 3,500, whatever Corvettes weigh. Probably more like 3,500. And of course the Atom just did a 6, which does make it like the fastest 60 to 130 in the world on drag times, even though the listing won't go up for some reason. Of course we know there's 2 faster Atoms in the world, but hey, let's go see what this Corvette can do. It is obviously much older and much slower, but it's still really fun to drive. Well, the car just went 12.5 on the street with it spinning, I'd say almost all the way through first gear, which makes it, I think, faster than the last quarter-mile pass I made in the car. It helps if you don't miss a gear. So I'm pretty happy with how fast the car is. The 60 to 130 was like 9 and change, which is crazy fast. And it felt great up there on the big end, but I'm about home with it. And I think we can call this a success. We got the Z washed up, and Gabe and I just blew it off, tried to get it all nice and perfect again. It looks pretty much like it did the last time I got it detailed. And now we're just waiting on my lawn guy to get here, so hopefully I don't even have to drive it back to the shop. So the game plan is that he buys it and we say goodbye to the Procharged Z. It's not doing me much good since it just sits in the shop, so hopefully it'll do him some good. And I'm home. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchchair.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. That thing looks really good. And so does the bicycle fleet. I know you guys haven't seen any of this stuff yet, but I've got a all carbon Rubai here. I think this one, it's the fact frame, so it might be a carbon expert. I don't really remember. And then my new carbon specialized Demo 8, which is a full pro build, Saint cranks, Mavic D-Max wheels. This is the Allens shock, and of course they've never been sold with the titanium spring, and I got that added. It weighs way less and is perfect, and I think it has 8 inches of travel front and rear. All the shocks are like 180s, and of course full disc brakes. Disc brakes are Avid code, so that thing's pretty wild. We've been out beating on them. There you go, bike guys. Eat your heart out. I've got a new Ross women's bike that I picked up really cheap a few weeks ago. And of course, everybody remembers my Specialized Cirrus that was in the background of all the videos for the first 2 years.